Like Zimbabwe, 80% of Kenya comprises arid or semi-arid lands. Rainfall, however, occurs in 1 or 2 short, intense seasons. But because the land is so dry, when rain does fall, up to 85% of the water is simply lost as runoff. Consequently, Utooni Development Organization has worked with farmers to dig into the slope of hillsides, as you see here, to level it, to mitigate runoff and grow crops. A total of 1,622 kilometers of terraces have been established in the organizational life of Utooni Development Organization. In the next slide, you can see the wall of a sand dam in the distance. Note the spillway a little further to the right, where water is spilling over to a dry riverbed below once the dam above is full. Closer in the foreground is the hole dug for a shallow well. Shallow wells are normally established near dam walls like this to access the greatest amount of water for the longest period. The reason you see water on the surface on the right is just because the dam is full, the ground is totally saturated. So, in terms of a formal definition, a sand dam is a reinforced stone masonry wall built across a seasonal river. During the rainy season, a seasonal river flows and carries soil composed of sand and silt downstream. The heavier sand accumulates behind the dam wall, while the lighter silt is carried downstream over the spillway. Within 1 to 4 rainy seasons, the dam can be filled with sand. However, up to 40% of the volume behind the dam wall is actually runoff water held in the pores between the sand particles. Sand dams have virtually zero operation and maintenance costs and last for over 50 years. They are one of the world's cheapest methods of capturing rainwater and are suited to drylands, provided seasonal riverbeds exist and the particle of sand is the correct size. Sand dams are often cited as the classical example of an adaptation to climate change. A mature sand dam can store up to 30 million liters of water. It recharges groundwater and provides a clean, reliable, local source of water all year round for up to 1,000 people. Because water is stored within sand, it is protected from evaporation, contamination, and disease vectors, provided users draw water from a shallow well, like you see here, as opposed to a scoop hole in a dry stream bed, which can get fouled by livestock and wildlife. The well also has a filtration box inside, and note that the bottom of the hand pump is sealed against contamination. Sand dams cause the water table to rise in riverine areas over time, which allows farmers like the one you see here to plant an orchard and an understory of food crops. Note the papaya, the passion fruit, bananas, and sugarcane in the 2 photos. In future, Utooni Development Organization intends to assist farmers build water pans, as you see here, in the upcoming Nature Positive Food Systems for Climate Change Adaptation project, which UDO and PWRDF are participating in under the auspices of Canadian Food and Grades Bank and Global Affairs Canada. So water pans are just long, deep, rectangular ponds shaded by trees to mitigate evaporation. This water pan in the 2 photos is dug from a location in Kenya with a white clay such that a rubber liner is not necessary. The water pans hold enough rainwater to allow farmers to farm throughout the entire year in both the rainy and dry seasons, which is a boon for food and nutritional security, not to mention higher prices for sales when staple crops are in low supply. UDO, or Utooni Development Organization, also experiments with different types of covers to reduce evaporation over ponds, as you see here. This shade netting reduces evaporation by 80%.